We begin from the National Assembly, where the Senate has commenced investigation into the disbursement and expenditure of 30 trillion naira Ways and Means advance from the Central Bank of Nigeria obtained under the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, as well as the Anchor Borrowers Program. President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, inaugurated the ad hoc committee for the probe in Abuja today and urged the 17 members to ensure thorough probe of the matter. Ways and Means is a credit facility through which the Apex Bank provides short-term financing to cover government's budget shortfalls. Our National Assembly correspondent Gloria Umezuki reports.
It's the inaugural meeting of the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Ways and Means to officially kickstart the investigation process into the 30 trillion naira Ways and Means loan from the Central Bank of Nigeria under the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari.
In the 9 Senates, a total sum of about 23.5 trillion was brought before the Senate for the Senate to concur, to approve, or approve. It turned out that it wasn't just 23.5 trillion, that in reality we had reached about 27, almost 28 trillion. And then with interest, by the time the 10th Senate came, we were now saddled with the responsibility of looking at about 7 trillion. So when you look at the totality, we are talking about a total of about 30 trillion. And the Accountant General and the CBN Governor have failed to provide the details and see whether they were judiciously utilized and if there is any way that some monies are still remaining. Then the Senate will recover it for the benefit of the Nigerian people and for the benefit of this administration.
At the convergence of the parties involved, the President of the Senate expects premium cooperation. He also charges the 17-member ad hoc committee to spare no one in its quest to uncover any missing detail.
You must leave no stone unturned in the pursuit of the truth. Therefore, conduct thorough inquiries and dig out information that will assist the Senate in making decisions on this matter and also making laws for the betterment of our dear country. The information and data you are going to gather for this investigation are very sensitive and must be handled with the utmost care and discretion until you submit your report. We must not see any aspect of the report in the media.
The ad hoc committee will interrogate the details of the Ways and Means disbursement, particularly the intervention programs such as the Anchor Borrowers programs, excess funding in the power sector, monies given to manufacturers, banks and airlines, which increase the current debt profile of the country.
We are going to carry out this assignment expeditiously, but without any form of compromise. I want to implore the parties, the beneficiaries of that program, that you should please make available to us relevant documents when we come asking for them. I equally want to employ them to make themselves available whenever we call them for interviews.
The Senate believes that the probe is fundamental to identify potential loopholes and ensure greater accountability in the CBN's development finance activities. The findings are expected to inform future policies aimed at promoting economic growth and mitigating financial risks. The committee has 6 weeks to turn in their report for legislative debate. Gloria Umezuki, Channels Television News.
Staying at the National Assembly, the chairman of the Northern Senators Forum, Senator Abdul Ningi, has denied suggesting that the president is implementing 2 budgets or that President Bola Tinubu is biased against the North. Senator Ningi told journalists in Abuja that he was misquoted by the presidency and that he is ready to carry his cross, even if it means being suspended.
At no time did I say Bola Ahmed Tinubu is implementing 2 budgets. There was no time At no time did I say Bola Tinubu was biased against the North. The House of Virgin is there. At no time did I say Bola Tinubu is implementing 25%, 25 trillion budget. I say we have established very reasonable doubt. About 25 trillion so far has nexus in the budget. That means there is money, and then there is project, and then there is location. Money, project, location. But we are yet to ascertain 3 trillion of that budget. We have established the 3 trillion in the budget. We have not established its location and the place. I don't want any northern senator to come here. If it is a cross I have to carry, I'll carry it. I'm not afraid of anything. Anything. I believe in one God, and I believe power is transient. I'm not scared of any issue like suspension. I've been out of the Senate for 8 years. And people had to force me back.
Meanwhile, another senator, Jimo Ibrahim from Ondo State, who was also briefed Senate correspondents, asked the federal government to charge Senator Ningi to court for criminal misinformation and breach of peace in the National Assembly and the country by extension.
One, it is not true that we have 2 appropriations. 2, Senator Ningi must be charged to court for conduct likely going to cause breach of peace and criminal misinformation. These 2 are very important. The charges will be preferred by the Criminal Justice Department of the government, and of course, after thorough investigation. If you have done something that is not good, cover your eyes with shame, and then go back and then retray your step. You cannot come. We are 109 people in the Senate, and you cannot come and destroy our integrity and reputation, and that will not be acceptable. What you put in the daily is very important. Don't hide under Hausa language. When does Hausa language become a controversy in Nigeria?
Well, definitely bringing more on this controversial issue at the National Assembly as we continue. Meanwhile, senators from 19 northern states have distanced themselves from claims of budget padding by the senator representing Bauchi Central, Abdul Ningi. In a statement by Senators Eyal Abbas from Adamawa, Ibrahim Bumoy from Yobe, Abdullahi Yaradua, and 4 others, the senators maintain that they are not in agreement with Mr. Ningi's remark, declaring the position of the senators from the 19 northern states and the FCT under the aegis of the Northern Senators Forum, the NSF. The senators maintain that Senator Ningi was on his own in the claims he made on the BBC Hausa service on the 2024 budget. The statement adds that there was never a time they held a meeting and mandated Senator Ningi to address the press on the said matter. According to them, both chambers of the National Assembly diligently and meticulously debated, processed, and passed the budget proposal of the President. The Director General of Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa, Mr. Edwin Harris, is advocating a more responsive judiciary, especially in the adjudication of cases of terrorism and terrorist financing. This, he says, is to deprive criminals of the proceeds of their crime, recover stolen assets, in addition to dismantling criminal enterprises. He was speaking at the training of trainers on countering the financing of terrorism and Anglophone Gambia states in Abuja.
One of the biggest concerns in countries plagued by terrorism is the seeming invincible nature of terrorists. Many have attributed it to the constant flow of funding for this nefarious activity. The impact on the economy of member states of the Intergovernmental Action Against Money Laundering in West Africa is the focus of this training of trainers organized by GIABA in collaboration with the National Institute of Security Studies. What are the threats posed by financiers of terrorist activities?
The insidious nature of terrorism not only threatens the lives of innocent people, but also undermines the very fabric and value of our societies and economies. One of the key pillars in our collective fight against terrorism is countering the financing that sustains their nefarious activities.
Terrorism inflicts untold suffering on innocent lives, tearing apart families, communities, and nations. Our effort to counter terrorism financing are not just about seizing assets or disrupting financial flow. They are about safeguarding our human dignity, promoting peace, and upholding the value of justice and solidarity.
The Commandant, National Institute of Security Studies, with a promise to intensify efforts in combating the menace. The Director General of the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa calls for speed and efficiency in the trial of suspects.
In the last decade, ECOWAS community has experienced an increasing level of terrorism, radical extremism, and other violent moves at an alarming rate. The Giaba community shares this global concern regarding the current situation in the Central Sahel area and northeastern Nigeria, and will continue to provide the necessary support to mitigate the money laundering and terrorist financing risks identified in line with ECOWAS' priority agenda.
The training of trainers on countering the financing of terrorism for Anglophone Giaba member states is aimed at arresting the activities of terrorism financiers who are daily devising new ways of promoting organized crimes.
The federal government under President Muhammadu Buhari had announced that it had a list of about 400 persons it said were behind terrorism financing in the country. However, the government neither disclosed the identities of the suspects nor prosecuted them. In part two, after the break, the worsening insecurity in the northwest comes under focus, and analysts pick holes in the federal government's handling of the rescue of kidnapped children in Kaduna and other states. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Senate begins investigation into the 30 trillion naira Ways and Means advance from the CBN under the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, as well as the Anchor Borrowers Program. The chairman of the Northern Senators Forum, Senator Abdul Ningi, denies suggesting that the president is implementing two budgets or biased against the North, as a group of Northern lawmakers dissociate themselves from Senator Ningi's comment. Worsening insecurity in the northwest comes under focus. Analysts pick holes in federal government's handling of the rescue of kidnapped school children in Kaduna and other states. And Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban has said Donald Trump will not fund Ukraine's fight against Russia's invasion if he is elected U.S. president again. The Arawa Youth Consultative Forum has been speaking on the recent abduction of school children and others in Kaduna, Sokoto, and Borno states by bandits, with a stand that the federal government and security agencies have not shown enough commitments to rescuing the kidnapped victims. In an interview with Channels Television, national president of the forum, Yerima Shatima, says the lingering insecurity in the north has drastically disrupted farming activities, education, and other socio-economic activities in that region.
It's very unfortunate that rather than looking to see that the new government come up with a program that will, to an extent, engage those so-called bandits, kidnappers, and so on and so forth. In the last few months, things are really getting out of hand. So we say it's very unfortunate, and that we have a government that promises all in terms of security, that are prepared, that they believe they have no excuses to tell the citizens of this country. And all of a sudden today, what we are getting is an abuse on our sensibility as a nation, is an abuse on the face of the government, and yet the government has not even realized that things are getting out of hand. It's very unfortunate. It's a really serious setback, because if the atmosphere is not conducive and there's insecurity that already marred the entire region. What do you expect? Definitely you don't expect to see anything developmental. You don't expect anything that has to do with education, because to an extent, some of us believe the way we are looking at it is as if there's a sort of target to undermine our education in northern part of the country to that extent, and that's why they find it easy to strike in some of these public schools and so on and so forth. And this is unacceptable. We condemn it in totality, and this is unacceptable. The government must have to come out and come up with something to marshal out plans that will, to an extent, bring back the glory that has always been there. The government must be seen to be very decisive, not these rhetorics, not issue of politics, but they must be seen to be very determined to engage those people. And that's why some of us believe strongly that the government has not made up its mind to address the issue. And to that extent, some of us cannot fold our hand and allow things to continue getting out of hand as it is today. Today, as I speak with you, nobody is safe in northern part of the country. It's as if we're on war. In fact, we're in war already.
It's like a bad dream for families of victims of kidnapping in the last few days. Over 300 children were taken away by gunmen in the bush in Kaduna, Katsina, and Sokoto states, leaving many in doubt about the ability of the military and the police to secure the nation. Time and again, Nigerians are wondering why government have not taken steps to stem the spate of kidnappings of school children in the country, especially in the northern part of Nigeria. In the special report, we took a look at the recent incidents of kidnappings in Kaduna, Katsina, and Sokoto, as security experts speak on what can be done by government to stop this ugly trend.
Until the night of April 14, 2014, when over 200 college students, mostly females, were kidnapped from the Government Girls College in Chibok, Borno State, schools were relatively safe for students. This was followed by the incident in Dapchi on February the 19th, 2018, where 10 schoolgirls aged between 11 and 19 years were taken away by terrorists from Government Girls Science and Technical College, Yobe State. Since then, terrorists have continued to embark on more kidnapping brazenly with little or no resistance. And soft targets are the most affected.
Women are mostly affected when there are cases of insecurity, banditry, kidnapping, and all of that.
It's unfortunate what happened in 2014. It's repeating itself in spite of the fact that from 2014 till date, we have at least 3 policies that the government over this period has attempted to implement, starting from the Safe School Initiative to the Safe School Declaration, to the most recent one, which is the National Policy on Safe Schools, and then, of course, its implementation policy. So, in simple terms, I don't want to mince my word. There is no accountability within the security system.
This year, the nation is witnessing abduction of more school children. In Kaduna, nearly 300 children were abducted by gunmen on March the 7th. 2 days after, bandits struck, this time in Sokoto, where 15 Sangaya students from Gada local government were taken away over the weekend. And in Katsina, 2 female students from Al Kalam University were abducted on January the 15th this year.
I believe that with this, we are going to dominate the affected areas and ensure that the criminals are brought to book and they don't come back for any attack.
Some questions are begging for answers. Where were the military and police personnel during the long hours that terrorists operated? What has happened after the successful kidnap of the school children? And what is being done to stop the trend?
When you look at it, there are no consequences for the people that are from it. They have gone ahead to kidnap those kids, and then, of course, instead of dealing with them directly with the military might that we have in this country, we've been playing palliatives with them. And no serious action that, will make them just stop it.
What is missing is that sense of responsibility. The element you referred to is principally intelligence. The details of what we're hearing at the moment, that it's possible this government moved from somewhere further up northwest. I don't want to mention locations because the issue is still ongoing, but that's what we're hearing, and that is us, just private players. We do not have the kind of intelligence collection capabilities that the government have, but if at our level we're able to gather this, then I'm hoping that the government would also at least show that level of responsibility and step in and start harvesting the intelligence that is out there.
An eyewitness in the Kuriga attacks in Kaduna say the people have remained in distress, not knowing who to turn to for help.
Bayan na shiga ofis na signing da shi acting principal, so sai yake ce mai duba bayan a gyara na daga lokacin da muka fito sai muka ga bandits ne gaba ɗaya sun yi occupying gaba ɗaya makarantar sun yi dumbaketin everywhere, so muka fara tunanin ina za mu yi, sai suka ce mana mu yi daji, so muka yi cikin daji kuma gashi suna da yawa, yara ne suna biye da mu almost sun mutum 700 suna bayan banda ma primary suna purpose. So bayan mun yi cikin daji sai Allah ya ba mu mafita mu da wasu yara, sai na samu na dawo na wata bayan gari, na dawo cikin gari na zo na rufe cewa ga abin da ke faruwa, so daga nan dama sun fara haƙa.
By now, I expect that a war room, some situation center would have been set up with live collection of these types of intelligence, with the analysis of this type of intelligence, and of course with the dissemination to various elements. I haven't had that yet. If it's happening, then I will be very delighted. If it's not happening, I'm hoping that they are listening to us and they will set up such a center and make it 24 hours and make it as effective as possible. Because the intelligence is there. I don't want us to kid ourselves about that. It's out there. It's just waiting to be harvested. And in this type of instances, the earlier you move, the better. If you allow time to pass, then, I mean, Leah Sharibu is still in the hands of those monsters.
It is hard to cope with the current harsh economy and having to deal with the heavy burden of insecurity and kidnapping. Where lies the hope for the citizenry? Within the space of just 1 month, over 320 students have been kidnapped. This is phenomenal. And except something dramatic is done to address this challenge of kidnapping, the schools, particularly in the north, may become unsafe for students. And of course, this will have a huge implication for the educational system in the country. This is the time for government to act decisively.
From insecurity to legal matters, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, has told Justice Oyindamola Ogala of the Lagos High Court, sitting in Ikeja, that the chairman of Ibeto Energy Development Company, Chief Cletus Ibeto, has paid back 1.5 billion naira in 2 tranches in respect to the 4.8 billion naira fraud allegations for which he was charged before the court. Counsel to the EFCC, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Rotimi Jacobs, also told the judge that the defendants paid the money as part of the ongoing plea bargain discussion between the anti-graft agency and the defendants. He added that the defendants had agreed to pay the balance within the next 3 months. Counsel to the defendants, Adebayo Oshodi, did not deny nor confirm these claims. The defendants, Ibeto alongside his companies, Ibeto Energy Development Company and Odo Holdings Limited, are facing a 10-count charge bordering on allegations of conspiracy, fraud and forgery, and fraudulent use of documents brought against them by the EFCC. The case could, however, not go on today, Monday, the 11th of March, owing to the arguments between the prosecution and the defense, on which the application is ripe for hearing. In another legal matter, the trial of the principal and some staff members of Chrisland School, Okwebi, over the death of Whitney Adeniro, a 12-year-old student of that school, resumed today at the Lagos High Court in Ikeja, with a testimony of the Deputy Director from the State's Ministry of Youth and Social Development, Yakubu Abisogun. Mr. Abisogun, who is a Level 16 social welfare officer, told Justice Oyindamola Ogala that his ministry found out that Chrisland School, Okwebi, violated the safeguarding and child protection policy of the Lagos State government in its preparedness for the school's inter-house sports competition at the Agege Stadium, where the late Whitney was said to have been electrocuted. The witness was led to in evidence by the Director of Public Prosecution, the DPP, Dr. Babajide Martins. Mr. Abisogun further said that their findings also showed that the school has no designated safeguarding and child protection officer attached to it, as required by sections 4, 5, and 6 of the Safeguarding Child Protection Law 2016. Justice Ogala has adjourned the case till Wednesday, March the 13th, 2024, for continuation of trial. And still ahead on the news at 10. The price of first decentralized cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, touches $72,000 for the first time ever. Please stay with us. Welcome back. We still have more for you on the news at 10 as we head over to Abuja Studios now, where Victoria Longjohn is standing by. Hello, Victoria.
Hello, Anne. We continue here with some politics as the Bayelsa State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal has dismissed a fresh motion filed by the All Progressives Congress and its governorship candidate, Mr. Timipre Silva, seeking disqualification of members of the panel from proceeding with their petition challenging the election victory of Governor Doye Diri. In a brief ruling, the chairman of the tribunal, Justice Adekunle Adeleye, held that a letter from the president of the Court of Appeal on March 5 mandated the tribunal to proceed with hearing of the petition irrespective of any application by the parties. And to Niger State now, where the president has inaugurated the 1,000-hectare agro-processing zone in Minna with a pledge that the federal government will support the initiative to ensure the nation attains food sufficiency. Earlier, President Bola Tinubu had commissioned a new terminal of the Minna International Airport, which has now been named after him. The event had in attendance the governors of Lagos, Benue, Kwara and Kogi states, as well as the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security.
The president's plane arriving the Niger State International Airport to the warm embrace of the host governor and other top dignitaries. The president proceeds to commission the new domestic terminal of the airport, which has now been named after him. The next phase is the flag-off of the agro-processing zone. Also on display are the agricultural equipment to drive the revolution. Some state governors present applaud the initiative and speak on the expected impact of the country's food production.
For this initiative, I urge the people of Niger State to join hands with you and your government to build a future of abundance and prosperity through all these important investments.
Indeed, what Niger has begun today is a strong testament of the power of do, and all my other governors, we are committed to ensuring that we support the federal government and we give what is needed for our citizens.
The Minister for Agriculture and Food Security is optimistic that the initiative will bridge the gap in the farming population.
This occasion further underscores Mr. President's deepest desire to leave behind an enduring legacy of a Nigeria where no citizen goes to bed on an empty stomach. For me, the institution of this project signals the restoration of hope to our teeming farming populations that indeed their welfare remains a key objective of the Tinubu-led administration.
And then it's time to hear from the man that has brought everyone together. Governor Mohammed Umar Bago is clear about what he intends to achieve with the agro-processing zone.
Mr. President, sir, furthermore, the state government has concluded plans to commence the construction of the long-abandoned Hajj terminal just behind here, within the Minna International Airport. The crucial project is expected to be completed in the next 3 months, before the commencement of 2024 Hajj operations.
It's now time for the president to commission the agricultural equipment on display. President Bola Tinubu commends Governor Bago for his vision, assuring him of the federal government's support in achieving the desired results.
We must care for people. We must rearrange our farming population, including livestock program. I don't see why Nigeria cannot feed all the pupils in our school with 1 pint of milk in a day. If our dairy system is well harnessed.
With the assurance from President Tinubu that the federal government will back the project all the way, Niger State appears set on a mission to revolutionize agro-processing in the country. Hopefully, this should improve the nation's food production and reduce to the barest minimum the importation of foodstuffs into the country.
And smallholder farmers in Zaria local government area of Kaduna State may be in for a new dawn following the launch of a tractor hiring scheme by an agro-allied company, UFarm Africa. The lead manager of UFarm Africa, Mr. Olalekun Ilori, says the initiative, which is technology-driven, is designed to boost farm productivity and also encourage the younger generation to embrace mechanized agriculture.
The concerns around food security born out of the inability of farmers to get to their farms are rife, coupled with poor farming tools. All that may be about to change, especially for farmers in Zaria local government area of Kaduna State, with the launch of a tractor hiring service through smallholder farmers by UFarm Africa. Having identified the problem of population explosion and a steady decline in food production, the lead manager of UFarm Africa, Olalekun Ilori, believes the initiative will benefit small-scale farmers in particular and also help to reduce production losses during the farming season.
UFarm also have a vision of Operation Farmer Holdings, whereby we have the tractors for a cooperative society. We could get it in the form of loan, and they will be paying it over the time.
Stakeholders at the event believe that the initiative will not only save farming time, but also assist peasant farmers to improve their productivity.
If the tractors are not going to be affordable for our farmers, then we have the power tillers. We have some simple equipment that we can use. Even if the farmers individually they cannot afford this, they can form a cooperative.
Describing the UFarm Africa Tractor for Grains initiative as a motivator, the representative of the Emir of Zauza asked the farmers to key into the scheme and strictly adhere to the conditions attached by the company.
This is a great development, not to only Zazo Emirate, to the state and the nation in general. We hope this will continue till, what do I say, we don't have no time.
The UFarm Africa Tractor Hiring Initiative commenced in Zaria as a pilot scheme. The company says it intends to expand the scheme across the country, targeting mainly smallholder farmers who are key in ensuring food security.
This initiative is something that we have to make it personal and make it work across all the 36 states of Nigeria. Though we are doing here in Zaria as a pilot scheme, and we believe we're going to extend.
This looks like a simple agri-mechanization initiative that might make a difference to smallholder farmers across the country when it eventually gets to their various rural locations.
And that's it from Abuja. It's now back to you, Anne, for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Victoria. Let's go back to one of our leading stories at the National Assembly on the 2024 budget, and the controversy generated by Senator Abdul Ningi's comment was triggered by an interview he granted the BBC Hausa service. Here's what was created to that controversy.
Ina ganin Bola Ahmed Tinubu bai fahimci
wannan ƙasa ɗin sosai ba, kuma bai fahimci wahalar mulki na ƙasa irin Najeriya nan ba. Wataƙil ya da nasa tunanin akan meye mulki. To amma ba na ganin laifinsa da yawa saboda lokacin da yake neman shugabanci ba wani alkawari da yi tsakaninsa da mutane. Kawai mutane sun rufe ido ne sun zaɓe shi wataƙil saboda ya goyi bayan Buhari a lokacin da Buhari yake neman shugabanci. Wasu kuma suna ganin ai musulmi ne saboda haka a goyi bayansa ko zai iya ko ba zai iya ba. Kusan wata uku zan gaya ma Buhari mun fidda kuɗi ana mana binciken bajet nan layi bayan layi. Mun ga munanan taɓargaza ba wai kawai aka yi wa arewa ba, taɓargaza da aka yi wa Najeriya akan wannan kasafin kuɗi. Ya kamata a ce mun yi zama da shi Senate President mun nuna markaɗan da abubuwan da muka gani. Nufinmu
waɗanda ba za ku yarda da su ba kenan?
Waɗanda ba mu yarda da su ba, kuma ba za mu yarda da su ba, kuma ba ma so a ci gaba da ɓadda kuɗi akan wayannan abubuwan, saboda bajet ɗin da aka yi bayan wanda majalisa ta zo ta yi a fili, an koma an yi wani bajet a ƙarƙashin ƙasa.
Kamar an yi cushe kenan a ciki?
Ya fi ƙarfin cushe. Kamar an ce an yi bajet na triliyan 28 misali kenan. Amma mu da muka ƙididdige sai muka ga bajet ɗin nan wajen kusan triliyan 25 ne, so kaga akwai triliyan 3 a ina suke, ina za a kai. To wannan muna bi, kuma akwai abubuwan da yawa tunda report ne da ya kamata za mu yi mu tattauna har kansa shi shugaban kasan, sai mun kai mar wayannan report da abubuwan mu nuna mar ka sani ne, in baka sani ba gashi, to mun kawo ma abin da baka sani ba idan ma baka sani ba, to abin ya fito fili, 'yan Najeriya sun sani wani irin mataki za ka dauka akan mutanen da suka yi wayannan abubuwan.
Willie Bong is standing by to take us through the world of business, beginning with the cryptocurrency market.
Thank you, Anne, and welcome to Business News. Now, the first decentralized cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, has topped $72,000 for the first time ever, with year-to-date gains hitting nearly 70%. Now, the original cryptocurrency price rose as much as 4% to $72,234 on Monday. Now, the Bitcoin frenzy comes on the back of massive inflows into U.S. exchange-traded funds, ETFs. Investors have poured in almost $10 billion into a batch of new Bitcoin ETFs since they launched in the U.S. 2 months ago, igniting a broad surge in crypto markets. Now, the Director General of the National Pension Commission, PENCOM, Mrs. Aisha Dahir Omar, has denied claims that PENCOM is owing federal government retirees arrears of pensions, as well as insinuations that the pension fund administrators are not fulfilling their obligations to retirees with regards to access to their retirement savings. In a statement shared with the media, Mrs. Dahir Umar emphasizes that PENCOM is not a bank and does not warehouse or manage pension funds. She also adds that the federal government did not take a loan of 10 trillion naira from the commission. Now we head to the domestic equities market, where it continued its bullish run from last week with a 0.7% rise in the all-share index today. And Ladi Williams tells us more.
Well, it's the first trading day for the second full week of March, and March is marching really fast and looking like it'll be a green month with the look of things at this time. 102,000 for the all-share index, 0.70% up, and we see the market cap 57 trillion. Let's look at the sectoral performance now. We see the banking counters up today. We saw about 96 million units of GTCO shares being traded on the NGX. I wonder why. Well, we see that contributing to the 2% gain. We see most of the figures actually up today. Consumer goods, 1.09% up, and we see oil and gas lagging today, 0.23%. I was in the market mover, Transco Power. The new kid on the block seems to be getting the attention at this time and moving the market today with the likes of the Tier 1 banks and Dacty Sugar in the consumer goods. Well, that's how your money performed today. The bulls take the first day of this week.
And that's a wrap on Business News. Is back to Anne for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Will. Former U.S. President Donald Trump will not fund Ukraine's fight against Russia's invasion if he's elected U.S. president again, and that's according to Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban. Well, here's Simon Puzzi with more international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban has said Donald Trump will not fund Ukraine's fight against Russia's invasion if he is elected US president again.
My country, Hungary, is the lone star state of Europe.
It is obvious that Ukraine cannot stand on its own feet, Mr. Orban told Hungary's M1 TV channel. Mr. Orban is openly backing his long-term ally in the 2024 White House race. The former US president has pledged to end the war within 24 hours if elected, but provided no details of how.
Orban is actually modeling for the Republican Party in the US how you can actually lead with culture wars and wind up with dictatorship. The last free and fair election in Hungary was in 2010. He's since rigged all the other elections. So he doesn't have the whole country behind him, but he will look like a great success because he wins elections overwhelmingly, which he does because he got to write all the rules.
Violence in the capital Port-au-Prince has ramped up once again, with heavily armed gangs attacking the National Palace. They also set part of the Interior Ministry on fire with petrol bombs. It comes after a sustained attack on the international airport, which remains closed to all flights. Prime Minister Ariel Henry tried to fly back to Haiti from the United States last week, but his plane was refused permission to land. The US military says it has carried out an operation in Haiti to airlift non-essential embassy personnel from the country and added US forces to bolster embassy security.
We're exploring contingency options to ensure the security of our personnel at the embassy. No decisions have been made at this time about potential deployments. I know there's been some press reports about a fleet anti-terrorism security team. What I can tell you is that DOD will not send troops to Haiti to support Haitian National Police security operations. We have no intention of intervening, and we are not providing assistance to help the Prime Minister return to Haiti at this time.
Portugal's centre-right has claimed a narrow election victory but has little chance of forming a majority government. Democratic Alliance leader Luís Montenegro told supporters that the Portuguese had voted for change, although the margin of victory was less than convincing. Both main parties polled around 29% of the vote. A top general from Sudan's army has ruled out a truce in the Islamic holy month of Ramadan unless the paramilitary group it is battling leaves civilian and public sites. The statement by Yasser al-Atta, a deputy commander of the army, comes after the army claimed advances in Omdurman, part of the wider capital, and an appeal by the United Nations Security Council for a truce during Ramadan, which begins this week. India has signed a free trade agreement with a group of 4 European countries that are not members of the European Union. The deal with the European Free Trade Association will see investments in India of $100 billion. The EFTA is made up of Norway, Switzerland, Iceland and Liechtenstein. The announcement comes as the UK and India have been holding negotiations over an FTA for the last 2 years. The Princess of Wales has apologised for any confusion her Mother's Day photograph caused after 5 news agencies retracted it over editing concerns. Catherine, in a statement posted on Kensington Palace social media, said, "Like many amateur photographers, I do occasionally experiment with editing." The image taken by the Prince of Wales was the first of Catherine to be released since her surgery in January. PA, Getty Images, AFP, Associated Press and Reuters had all removed the image. And as expected, Oppenheimer was the big winner at the Oscars.
Cillian Murphy.
It took home the top prize of Best Picture, as well as 6 other awards, including Best Actor for Cillian Murphy and Best Director for Christopher Nolan. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Team Nigeria has just added 6 more gold medals in women's 55 kg and 59 kg weightlifting events that just got concluded at the 13th African Games in Ghana. Adijat Olarinwoye won gold in clean jerk, snatch and overall in the 55 kg. It was same for Rafiat Lawal in our event. Earlier, Edidiong Umuafia raised the bar when he won the highest number of single medals in weightlifting, clinching 3 gold medals in the men's weightlifting 67 kg. Team Nigeria won other medals in other events, 2 silver in the men's freestyle 57 kg and 60 kg and bronze in chess event. The football teams are not left out in the cherry news as the Flying Eagles beat South Sudan 1-0 to record their first win in the men's event. The defending champions for the women, the Falconets, thrashed Senegal 4-0 to advance to the semi-final of the women's event. That's it on sport. It's back to you.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. The Senate today began investigation into the 30 trillion naira Ways and Means advance from the CBN under the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, as well as the Anchor Borrowers Program. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. Good night.